Most people think hard work is about discipline, but the truth is, your brain only repeats what it learns to enjoy. Change what your brain craves, and work stops feeling like punishment. Number 7, lower the starting friction. Your brain doesn't hate hard work, it hates starting hard work. That first step feels heavy because your brain is wired to protect energy. It always looks for the easiest path, especially when a task feels big or uncertain. So when you think about studying, exercising, or working on a difficult project, your mind quickly suggests something easier. You check your phone. You delay for a few minutes. You promise to start later. But here's the hidden truth. Resistance lives at the beginning. Once you start, your brain shifts gears. Momentum begins to build, and the task feels less painful than you imagined. That's why productive people focus on making the first step simple. They don't plan the entire journey, they just begin. Open the document, put on your shoes, sit at the desk. That tiny action signals movement, and movement creates energy. Your brain starts thinking, we're already doing this, so let's continue. Over time, starting becomes easier because your brain stops seeing work as a threat. And once you master starting, you realize the real battle was never the work. It was the hesitation before it. Number 6, reward effort, not results. Reward effort. Most people train their brain to love results but ignore effort. And that's a dangerous pattern. Results are unpredictable. Sometimes you win, sometimes you fail. But effort is always within your control. When your brain only gets satisfaction from winning, it begins to fear hard work. It starts thinking, what if this doesn't pay off? That fear quietly kills motivation. High performers understand something different. They reward the process, not the outcome. After a focused study session, they feel proud. After finishing a workout, they acknowledge the effort. Even small progress becomes meaningful. This simple shift changes how the brain sees work. Instead of stress, it begins to feel progress. Instead of pressure, it feels momentum. Biologically, this matters. Every time you recognize effort, your brain releases dopamine, the chemical linked to motivation and satisfaction. That signal tells your mind, this behavior is worth repeating. Over time, hard work stops feeling like punishment and starts feeling like progress. And when effort becomes rewarding, consistency becomes easier. But there's another factor that quietly controls your behavior every single day. Your surroundings. Number 5, control your environment. First, people often believe success depends on willpower, but willpower is unreliable. It changes with mood, energy, and stress. Environment, on the other hand, works quietly in the background, shaping your behavior without effort. Your brain constantly responds to what it sees around you. If distractions are close, your focus disappears. If tools are ready, work becomes easier. Think about how small details influence you. A phone on the desk pulls attention every few minutes. A messy room creates mental noise. A comfortable couch invites rest even when you plan to work. These signals may seem harmless, but they guide your decisions more than you realize. Productive people don't fight distractions. They remove them. They design spaces that support discipline. They keep books within reach. They place their phone out of sight. They create a clear workspace that sends one message. This is where work happens. When your environment supports your goals, your brain stops resisting effort. Work becomes the default choice instead of a daily struggle. But the next shift goes even deeper because it changes not what you do, but how you see yourself. Number 4, adopt the worker identity. Most people try to force discipline without changing their identity. They say, I need to work harder. But deep down, they still see themselves as someone who procrastinates, and your brain always protects your identity. It will resist behaviors that don't match how you see yourself. Here's the powerful shift. Stop focusing on actions and start focusing on identity. Instead of saying, I'm trying to study, say, I am a disciplined person. Instead of thinking, I need motivation, think, I'm the kind of person who shows up. This sounds simple, but it rewires your behavior. Because once your brain accepts a new identity, it starts looking for evidence to support it. You begin acting differently, not out of pressure, but out of alignment. Skipping work feels uncomfortable. Being lazy feels out of character. That's why elite athletes, top students, and successful entrepreneurs protect their identity fiercely. They don't negotiate with their habits. They act in ways that confirm who they believe they are. And once your identity changes, discipline stops feeling forced. It becomes natural. But identity alone isn't enough because your brain still needs fuel to keep going when things get hard. Number 3, train your brain for discomfort. Your brain naturally avoids discomfort. That's its survival instinct. It tries to keep you safe, relaxed, and energy efficient. But growth lives on the other side of discomfort. And if your brain never learns to tolerate discomfort, it will always run back to comfort. Successful people don't wait to feel comfortable. They practice discomfort on purpose. They wake up early even when they're tired. They finish tasks even when they feel bored. They keep working even when progress is slow. Over time, this repeated exposure teaches the brain a new lesson. Discomfort is not danger, it's growth. The feeling of struggle becomes familiar instead of scary. What once felt painful begins to feel normal. Think of it like building a muscle. The first workout feels exhausting. The 10th feels manageable. The 100th feels routine. Your brain adapts the same way. When you consistently face small challenges, your tolerance for effort increases. Tasks that once felt difficult start to feel easy. And once your brain stops fearing discomfort, you unlock a new level of control. But there's still one hidden mechanism that decides whether your habits stick or disappear. Number 2, make progress visible daily. Your brain needs proof that effort is working. Without visible progress, motivation slowly fades. You start questioning yourself. You wonder if the work is worth it. And when progress feels invisible, your brain assumes failure is coming. That's why high achievers track everything. Not to impress others, but to show their brain evidence of growth. They mark completed tasks. They record study hours. They measure small improvements. Each mark becomes a signal. Progress is happening. This visual proof creates momentum. You see yesterday's effort, and it pushes you to continue today. Skipping work suddenly feels like breaking a chain you worked hard to build. Consistency becomes personal. Even tiny progress matters. 1 page written, 1 workout finished, 1 skill improved. These small wins stack together and form confidence, and confidence makes hard work feel worthwhile. When progress becomes visible, your brain stops guessing and starts believing. Belief turns effort into habit. And once your brain believes in progress, there's only one final shift left. The one that makes hard work feel almost automatic. Number 1, fall in love with the struggle. This is the final shift. The one that separates people who try hard from people who stay hard-working for life. Most people are taught to chase comfort, to avoid stress, to escape difficulty as quickly as possible. But the highest performers flip that mindset completely. They don't just tolerate struggle, they start to respect it, even appreciate it. Here's the deeper truth. The brain doesn't crave hard work by accident. It learns to crave the feeling that hard work creates. The tension, the challenge, the sense of pushing limits. That feeling becomes a signal of growth, a sign that something meaningful is happening. Think about moments when you solved a tough problem, finished a demanding workout, or completed a project after hours of effort. The relief felt powerful, but the pride felt even stronger. That pride is addictive. It tells your brain, this pain had a purpose. Over time, struggle stops feeling like suffering. It starts feeling like progress. You begin to welcome difficult tasks because they confirm who you are becoming. And once your brain associates effort with pride, hard work is no longer something you force. It becomes something you naturally chase.